Ronan McCarthy takes on Sean Storry. Mark Shepherd and Tony Holgate with you for this one. Start of what's going to be a long day of pool, Tony. We've got 10 matches pretty much back to back today, playing all the way through to the final of this event later on tonight.
Yeah, and a nice match to start us off this morning. Ronan McCarthy, Sean Storry. I did watch a bit of these two guys' matches last night out in the arena. Ronan McCarthy defeated Shane Thompson 7-5. That was a funny old game. Ronan was 6-5 up, had a really good chance. The first chance at the finish, blew it. Shane Thompson came to the table, relatively an easy finish for him, blew it. Ronan McCarthy is here this morning, and Shane sort of like, you can imagine, was quite frustrated with himself. Sean Storry, a little bit of an easier game. I'd say easier, but the scoreline suggested that he beat Luke Sanchez 7-3, I believe. But there's a bit of controversy in the, I think it was the third frame, where sort of the black was over the pocket, and the shorter put coloured reds near it. Luke was on the black, and they had to get referee over because Luke didn't want to try and. Obviously, the line of him to come off the cushion to come down the pocket was blocked, so he wasn't making much of an attempt, let's say, and he was dropping the ball short. So the referee had to come over, and in the end, he awarded the frame to Sean. But that was very early on, and Luke didn't really recover. He was quite frustrated with it, and Sean sort of sauntered to victory.
Big moments, those, because whether or not you win on the first day just really defines your weekend. Otherwise, you end up having Friday off, which, if you come here sort of for the social side of things, is fine. But obviously, if you come here as a top pro looking to win the thing, it's a bit frustrating. And because all the other events, the Challenger and Women's Series events, are starting, there aren't loads of practice tables. So if you lose last night, you're kind of needing to enjoy the sights of Blackpool and not playing much pool.
How good a shot was that?
Really got into that, didn't he?
He did. He put all his force into that one, did Sean Storry. Great shot. Coming down and disturbing those two yellows. He's checking that one past in the bottom, which I'm pretty sure it does. And he's got a decent angle on this one into the middle as well. Great shot.
Yeah, to really force that, because the natural angle was kind of going the wrong way, to dig into it so much to overcome that. As we were just saying in the preview out in the arena, he's definitely a man coming back into form by his own very high standards. Didn't have a great end to last season. It's all relative, obviously. It wasn't terrible, but for somebody that's used to being in the winners' enclosure, it's been a while since he had a trophy, but this season already looking considerably better, and came so close last time we were in Blackpool, coming up short against Tom Cousins in the end.
Another nice shot there from Storry. Lovely position onto the yellow at the top. Impressive start.
Yeah, it's always nice when you come back on the second morning. You kind of know that you've got a clear run to the final, which is going to be playing all day today for anyone that does carry on winning.
Well, with the seeds that have gone out already, I mean, there's a lot of players here now that, well, probably everybody now that's left in it will feel that they have a chance of winning it. If you still have a Melling or a Cousins, Jordan Shepherd all sat there, you're kind of sort of looking over your shoulder and eyeballing them, but all those three are gone.
It's obviously hard to pick a winner, but I think if you were to look at the draw, you might conclude that the top half of it is slightly less stacked with regular tournament winners. This match, the pick of this round. The other players in the top half of the draw, as we see Sean miss.
It looked like he lifted a little bit on that shot there.
Yeah, it was always a little bit tricky, because he was going to have to dig down, obviously, to get position onto the 8 ball. Didn't want to hit it too hard, but just slightly got the timing out of sync.
Yeah, there's a bit of movement there.
Well, I was going to say, the top half of the draw, Mark Fleming, Dom Cooney, Kyle Cope, Carl Morris, Rob Warren and Cole Bedford are the other 3 matches. Plenty of people there that are potential winners. Dom Cooney's won a Pro Series before. Carl Morris, a former world champion. Rob Warren's always there or thereabouts. But by comparison with the bottom half of the draw, you've got the likes of Scott Gillespie, Declan Brennan, Craig Waringham, Stevie Dempsey. That That's going to be a very tough half to get through.
Yeah, lots of experience there though. Carl Morris, yeah, former world champion. That was 26 years ago, believe it or not. 1998. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it was that long ago, and it's hard to believe that he's still playing at the top level.
Well, he was very young when he won it. I mean, he's not. What's he? 40, I think he's 43 or 4. I think he's much past that. So
Yeah,
he was about 19 or 20 when he won it.
Yeah, he was the youngest at the time. He may well still hold that record. I don't know.
It's quite funny because when you do see it and you see Carl, I think, my word, he looks like he's still at school.
It's quite something to come back and still be at the top level, though, after 26 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, the same for Ronan McCarthy. He's been dominating
the
game.
current world champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. The 2 world titles for Ronan. His career didn't really need anything else to justify how good he was, but it's been the real icing on the cake. Winning 2 world titles in 3 years, no matter who you are, is just a crazy achievement in the current game. He's not gone into either of those World Championship campaigns as anything like the favourite, but just seems to have lifted his game at the right moments.
Then bizarrely, I think these are harder to win than a world title. These are Ultimate Pool Pro events. That's a good hit there from Sean. Good cue ball as well.
Yeah, they're certainly more stacked in terms of the consistency of the field. This year's world title, I think, was a nice one for Ronan. The 2022 one was a strong field. It wasn't like it was soft by any means, but not all of the big names had travelled over to Ireland that year for that event. Whereas this year, the event was held immediately after the Pro Series in June in Blackpool, so there were a lot of the top pros were still around for it, plus a lot of the international players. So
I think it's Chris Mellon's first one for a while, wasn't it?
yeah, I think there were a few players that thought it would be a fairy tale for them. Melling was definitely very high up that list. I mean, it's been 21 years since his last world title, which is an incredible statistic because he's continued to dominate the game since then, although he's played different forms other than English 8-ball in that time. Now Ronan's going to have to go to work. Can't be playing any more safeties with the yellow hanging over that pocket.
No, but these reds are nice though. The black obviously passes that yellow up into the top corner as well, so you'd expect Ronan to finish these off.
This is a good warm-up visit really, just a few loose balls. Goes without saying that Ronan doesn't fear anybody, won as much as he has. But obviously he'll be aware this isn't the easiest of draws. Sean Storry has been a real specialist in Pro Series events over the years.
When Ronan was younger, he didn't fear anybody. He's one of the toughest opponents you could wish to play against. Great money player as well back in the day. Well, to be fair, after a while people just stopped playing him for money. It's just because he's just like ice is running through his veins. He's just stone cold. You don't see a great deal of emotion from Ronan, but he's just such a steady good player. You know, you just do not see Ronan play bad pool.
And that's the bit you can't teach, the being cool under pressure. You can have as much coaching as you like to improve the technical fundamentals. Some people just have that inner calmness.
And it is the world champion who wins the first frame.
McCarthy to Brennan, needing 3 frames to
He's made a ball. I mean, he doesn't have a big sledgehammer break either. Look at those reds, by the way. My word. You know, he hasn't got a big sledgehammer break, but what he has got, he's got a good technique that he gets the balls all moving around the table, and he generally does make a ball. Just look at these reds, Mark.
This is almost a repeat of what happened in the world title, where suddenly he started making balls off the break and just kept leaving nice finishes.
You couldn't leave an easy finish in this.
No, this is the kind of finish where some players who don't have a tight cue ball can sometimes get themselves out of position, but you just know with Ronan that he's going to keep tight control.
But I don't think it really matters. You're always going to be able to see one of these balls as long as you don't miss anything silly. Dot to dot finish.
Yeah, it's just dream stuff to get left this, isn't it? And the fact that all the yellows are kind of over to the sides of the table, just out of the way, they're not going to come into play.
The thing is, Mark, since Sean's missed those 2 balls that he shouldn't have missed that were close to the rail, he's not had a shot. He's had a dry break.
I think there have been moments recently where Sean has felt like he's been unlucky. Things have happened in matches. I think we all know it sort of adds up in total, but this is going to be another one where he's going to be thinking that his opponent's just getting these nice run-outs, and why isn't he getting these chances?
Ronan's eyeing up, not playing the one into the middle because he's slightly hampered.
Extension, please.
It's one of those because he could play it the other way, but does he want to bother? This is just roll it into the middle.
Yeah, the fact he's not going to do anything makes it easier, even though he is bridging over.
He's missed it. Oh my word. Would you believe it? And that was all because he thought, no, I'm not going to miss it. He certainly considered playing the other red. And what did I say? The finish you can't miss. I mean, but if you could have that finish every time you went to a pool table, you'd buy it, wouldn't you? You'd pay for that. I just can't believe he's missed that.
Yeah, it was a bad miss as well. I mean, you're exactly right. Oh, well, talk of bad misses, goodness. I mean, it wasn't like that was an easy plant, but you can see from his body language he was expecting to get it.
I see Sean going and sitting in Ronan's chair. It's not to go in his line of vision. Very gentlemanly from Sean Storry. And really it's gentlemanly back from Ronan McCarthy to miss another ball. Well.
Well, a match where it had been absolutely flawless from Ronan, suddenly it's turned into chaos from both of the players. And now, this time, these balls are perfect. I mean, well, we've just said the same about the Reds, but surely from this position you can't see Sean missing.
Turning point.
Well, it feels like it could be, because 4-0 was going to be a long way back. 3-1's not great, but it's a much better spot for Sean. And also, the fact that Ronan's now missed a second time, I think the first miss to the middle you can put down to, almost a lack of concentration or just getting distracted with something else. But then to follow that up with a second miss, it was a harder ball, the second one, but almost more annoying to miss that one. Well, the best shot there, could have done with access to the full cue ball, but I think he can just get past the red. Perfect angle here, the cue ball's naturally just going to be coming on and off the bottom cushion.
Well, this would be a relieved Sean Storry. And he gets his first frame on the board and sort of looks to the skies. What am I doing?
If he pots the ball off this break, the match is assuredly done. Even if he doesn't, it's probably still not enough time for Sean.
That'll do him, really. I think I'll be having a towel in after McCarthy's visit.
Yeah, he can go for this clearance, knowing that even if he doesn't get it, it doesn't really matter. Potted a couple of reds off the break.
Yeah, use the extensions. That's just killed any sort of hope, and it was pretty bleak anyway for Sean Storry.
He's done the right thing, though. I mean, you do see strange things happen at the end of matches. Ronan doesn't want to.
He was actually waiting for the beeps then as well, Ronan, with that shot.
Go for the clearance now. Knows he's won the match. There aren't many times at a pool match. In a snooker match, sometimes you can be far enough ahead that you've won and you have the sort of victory lap. It's not very often in pool that this situation presents. Knows he's won the match, so this is effectively just a bit of exhibition stuff for the last minute and a bit.
Well, might as well take out the finish now. It's a really good finish as well. We're playing with plenty of side with that shot there to hold for this red. Great control.
Yeah, it's been going back to what he was doing at the beginning of the match, where we were hyping up his positional play.
Well, this black for a 7-3 victory for the man from Northern Ireland, the world champion, Ronan McCarthy.
Very good indeed from Ronan McCarthy. Sean Storry, to his credit, made a match of that. There were moments when it looked like he could lose that match quite comfortably.
Ah, of course, yeah.
And there's a steam room and a jacuzzi in there as well, which is quite pleasant. A load of the players were in there, about 10 o'clock
until you got in there, and then they all vacated.
Yeah. It was quite nice to have a chat with the lads in a relaxed environment.
There's better ways you could have put that, but I don't fancy having that as my lasting memory or thoughts in my mind. You sat in a jacuzzi with fellow pool players, and well, anyway, let's
at least we were all donning shorts. I was just saying to somebody in there yesterday, Tony, that
you need to let it go now, Nick.
I was in Austria a few weeks ago, and I went into
Lederhosen.
Yeah, went into a spa, and I walked through the door and then back straight out again because there was a lady in there who was in the full naked. And I was just like, what on earth's going on? Am I in the wrong place? So I backed out, shut the door, and went and hid somewhere else until she left. I was like, just felt totally awkward.
I'm sure she felt the same.
I know.
What a bizarre story to come out with this time of day.
I know.
Anyway, Declan Brennan at the table. It's been very well. Both of these players, I was going to say, he's been very impressive, but so has Scott Gillespie. He took care of Chris Melling yesterday, did Scott?
I was just looking down through the drawer a minute ago and struggling to pick a winner. There's so many players now who could do the business from here, and I mean Dempsey's the bookie's favourite, and the way he played yesterday, you know, who'd put it past him lifting the trophy. But Scott Gillespie, he was sublime yesterday as well. Declan Brennan's playing well. I mean, just look down through the field. Ronan's obviously just won, and he's got Cold Bedford next, and that's going to be a tough game for both. Really, really tough to pick a winner from them now. Tom going out early doors really did open the draw for everyone. Because Phil Harrison is out. Waringham's still there as well. FitzSimmons. Dylan Leary's playing well, albeit he's 6-5 down at the moment, but he's another deep run from him. So a lot of players have really taken to this new table. Carl Morris is another. Saw him on Wednesday evening, and I said to him then that I felt this table would. Oh wow, Decky, goodness me. Well, an early error.
Just same with Mark actually when you mentioned Carl Morris in the last match. I said he last won the world title in 1998. But I said someone who will benefit with these tables, with his cue action and use of these type of tables with a tight pocket is Carl Morris.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I looked at how he's he'd just gone 5-4 up when I walked back in here out in the arena. So I don't know if there's any change to that scoreline.
No, it's still 5-4, but yeah, I mean, I said to him on Wednesday when he was having a knock around, I said, I really think these tables are going to suit you, Carl, because of the way you play, because you keep it so simple. The way your cue action, you never hit anything hard. The cue ball's under control. You know, you're a very accurate potter, clever player. I just had a feeling about him this weekend having a deep run, and here he is.
Yeah, I agree.
On the precipice. I mean, he's a couple of frames away from.
Well, he's playing Kyle Cup, and Kyle's playing very, very well.
Yeah. I think this is one of the most open fields we've had for a very long time.
Well, it lent itself to that with Tom Cousins going out at the first attempt, Chris Melling going second round, also Jordan Shepherd going out early doors, you know.
Yeah.
Ironically, all three have come back from the US from last week in Denver. There's Scott Gillespie at the table, and his game has really come up in the last couple of months. We've seen it rise a little bit and then up a bit more, then landing the European Open in fine style as well, might I say. And he's just full of confidence at this moment in time. Is Scott.
He looked great yesterday when we watched him play last night. He really did look good.
Looks unflustered as well, you know. Just looks confident. And
the way I described it to Mark when we were on comms yesterday is, you know, when Scott was dominating about 5 years ago, just pre-COVID, he just bullied every field. Just looked in complete command, complete control of the table. And then for the last couple of years, he's won a couple of events, but he's been a shadow of his previous self. But this weekend, you know, he's off the back of the win of the Europeans.
I mean, that European Open win, you know, myself and Mark were on comms there as well as J-Mo. He was obviously up there, and it just, he was the best player, you know. Obviously, he won the tournament, but it's not always, you know, the standout player wins the tournament, but he really was. It just, every match.
He just looks back in command of the table. Doesn't look like missing. I think he missed one ball yesterday in his entire match. The car behind her took the worst of the brunt, but pushed it into her car, which jarred her and has given her a bad back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Another look at Scott's break. Not as powerful as his opening one. And also dry. So Declan Brennan at the table. Well, he needs this frame, Declan, just purely to get his head up after the ball he missed in the last frame.
Yeah, no doubt. And they'd be happy that it's a fairly simple clearance too. Play around.
There he is, look.
The yellow and the red.
Ronan McCarthy we just saw there talking to Hogan.
Side.
He's not got there?
Oh, he's not.
Oh, you can just probably see the thin edge of this.
But that's a howler. I mean...
Well, what he did is he landed 2 shots. Do you know what I would have done? 2 shots ago, I wouldn't have took that one in the middle because he had a perfect angle on that red that was near the corner to drop it in play with running side, whereas he landed a bit straighter there and had to punch it round the 2 cushions, which was a harder shot, especially to judge the weight.
He's fortunate to still be on it, and that was a really nice, well judged cannon.
Yeah, I think if that one had not gone, I think we could have, you know, his head would have probably gone completely, because
just not settled though, is he?
Well,
you know, even that shot there, you know, that the one to get around the yellow and the red. I was with you. I wouldn't have wanted to leave that until last.
Was it ready? The Bracknell Hilton. I'll tell you that Bracknell near Reading.
Yeah.
Never forgot that. That was hideous.
I never minded being in a pool hall where there was, you know, loads of tables going, loads of people in there, and it was warm. I just felt warmer and sort of looser.
Look at that break.
Incredible.
This could be one of the most stunning comebacks I've seen.
Turn the match on its head.
Well, let's not forget, he was missing some bizarre shots early doors, not at the races at all, and it's like there was an imposter inside Declan Brennan's body, and he's exercised it And all of a sudden, it's like, will the real Declan Brennan please stand up? And he is now cooking on gas.
Yeah, he's got rid of the poltergeist. Bottom left next. If he'd have finished dead straight on the yellow to middle, he would have taken that. But he's finished dead straight on this. I can just screw straight back. Of course, that's under
A little bit short there, yeah.
Now he's probably going to have to navigate the red at the top of the table. He's going to have to play this with the
right hand side,
running side. Yeah, right hand side. So you're going to see it go to the left of that red, and then kick across to the right hand side of the table. So he's going to come around it.
Just like that.
Lovely.
Well, slightly went out of position, but he's got himself back. And he's on this 8-ball, this for 6-5. And in it goes. And Declan Brennan has come from 6-1 down to within 1 frame of Scott Gillespie.
And he does. What a break. He's creamed that cue ball.
Red and yellow top left. Declan will be relieved to see something at least has to be moved.
Look at the cue ball
straight back
up the middle of the table.
Yep. And that's the mistake he made in a couple of frames ago, is he pulled it back towards that corner bag, and like you say, it was kicked in the cue ball, but it's about 3 balls chasing up the table. You kind of know as they're going up behind the cue ball that something's going to bang that cue ball into the pocket, and it did. But this time,
no,
he's at the table.
No particularly easy openers on yellows either.
No, like I say, Declan Brennan will be very relieved, because when he saw that break at first, I bet he's thinking, oh no, don't be easy. Yeah. Don't be tap-ins, please.
The only opening he's got really is the one to top left. But you'd like to leave that ball there, because that's not a bad ball. If you land the right angle, you could leave that to kick to kick the other yellow out.
He has no starting ball. This is the thing, this is open table.
Wow. That doesn't want Declan to be able to take yellows. But
he can cut that back that's near the black. It's very thin, but it cuts.
Or even cushion first for the one over the top right.
Ooh, I think it cuts because he's bumps this other yellow out.
Yeah, it was a bit clumsy to leave this cut. Oh,
he's missed it.
That. No, he hasn't.
Oh,
he's got a 2-for-1 deal.
He has. Buy one get one free. Well,
he played both of our shots, Tony.
He did.
He cut it in and played the other one off the cushion. Very
playing safe now. Just getting his yellow off the rail, putting Gillespie under a bit of pressure. But he's left him the red into the centre, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it.
He meant to bring the yellow back across there.
That's clumsy if he's left this, because this is a real chance.
Bit of drama now, because Gillespie's right under pressure here. We're going to see. He's going to have his metal tested.
What's he got here? Is he? Yeah, he's past the yellow, isn't he? He's got the one to top right, I think. Declan looking at the table, looking for some kind
15
of
seconds of shot coming up now as well on top.
But he can get past the yellow, so he's got a really tough red now.
Has to take it on. Thin cut down the rail.
These are horrible.
Wow.
I'm surprised that went, but
I am.
He put side on the cue board that transferred onto the object board. You could see when it hit that far knuckle, the side took and took it into the pocket. Wow. What a turnaround. One just slightly clumsy safety shot from Declan Brennan, and it's again turned this match on its head.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got to say hats off to Declan for even making a game of this. But he will feel a little bit hard done by there.
Well, all the damage was done early doors from Declan, and Scott Gillespie. Scott was in sublime form, and he's done well to hold himself together.
If you look at the back end, the front end of the match, if Declan the couple of mistakes he made, if he takes those chances, then we're probably sat here at 5 each or 6 each, and it's a different game.
Well, this for the match for Scott Gillespie and a place in the quarterfinals. In it goes, and the man from Scotland looks up to the sky, shakes hands with Declan Brennan. He is victorious, beating the man from Northern Ireland by 7 frames to 5.
Scott Gillespie getting through in the end in that one. Both of these two players always there or thereabouts. Craig Waringham in particular had the best of runs in the Pro Series of late, but still feel like he's a very dangerous opponent. He's somebody that you sort of fancy for at least one tournament win a season.
He really is one of those, that level player. I think he's one of those that has the sort of game that could certainly legitimately say top 8, push top 4, even go beyond that really. He's a lot of confidence, a lot of belief, huge amount of game. Simon FitzSimmons is an interesting one, a player that you'll just go missing for tournaments on end and all of a sudden turn up, make a final. Not quite the level of consistency from Simon, and that not necessarily down to his own plays, volatility of the game and where he is in the sort of mid ranks of the Pro Series, but a player that's been to a couple of finals now, a couple of semis. He's a high quality player. Seen too much of him of late.
Arguably his best result was pretty much the first ever event, the Masters, where he lost narrowly in a 6-red shootout to Phil Harrison. Literally as close as he could have come to winning his first Ultimate Pool title in that one.
Just checking out the rankings actually as we see Craig have his first chance here, and Craig's top 8 starting ranking, so seeded top 8, but down to 12 now in the 12 in the rankings on the, which means his 1 year list is certainly down. One semi-final so far this year, not enough for a player of his level.
Generally seems to have done better in the non-Pro Series events. Won the Champions League last season. His semi-final this season was in the Masters. Quarter-final his best showing so far in a Pro Series weekend. As the fly trouble in the arena continues, Craig just taking care of that before playing the shot.
He has a great attitude though. He's one of those, doesn't live and die by the result. You know, he wants to win desperately. You know, he's a real competitor out there, but you know, loses, dusts himself down. You know, doesn't beat himself up. It's just on to the next tournament. You know, it's a great attitude to have. Some players, you know, you need half an hour. Some players need an hour. Some players you probably need to leave and come back again. Whereas, you know, Craig's not one of those.
Do you see some players literally leave the venue? I mean, a lot of them travel a long way to come to Blackpool, lose the match, and they're straight back on the motorway. Want no further part in it.
Well, we've had players miss qualifiers because of that. When we had qualifying on the Sundays, and they were so disappointed by losing the Pro Series, they didn't want to enter in the qualifier for the next. And you're just thinking, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? But
he's all about the cue ball. What you say is very true about Craig. He quite often seems to leave himself shots at distance, which makes sense for him, but just wouldn't make sense for a lot of other players.
Well, at 3-0, race to 7. There's still plenty of time in this match, but the way that Craig's playing, a very important visit to the table right now for Simon FitzSimmons. A very, very good chance to make a reverse clearance, and he needs to get going. Another player actually that has a similar style to Craig in the way he goes about it. It's about the potting, it's about the giving yourself options, giving yourself shots, rather than kind of finding that perfect pattern to make the game easy. You know, like someone like a Mick Hill will always make the game as easy as possible, and very different style.
In that category of player that when you watch him play, you kind of wonder why he's not winning more. I mean, it's not like he's had a bad result at all. He's generally been hanging around the sort of mid-30s in the rankings, which in this field is a decent achievement.
For my money, for Simon, fabulous player, but I believe he doesn't have the balance between an attack and defend as well as others. And I know all the players look like they just go at it at all costs, and I think Simon is one of those. But there are times when you just reference Ronan. You know, you don't go at it all the time, and if you if you always chase finishes and you don't get them, every time you don't get them, you're going to lose those frames. And I think Simon maybe is just at times gets a tinge too aggressive.
I think for other pros, he ends up being a decent opponent as a result. He's a very good player, so he's not an easy opponent in that sense, but he's one where you feel you're going to get a few chances in a match, which generally you're going to relish at this level, because that's not a guarantee by any means. That's not really the same as saying he's an easy draw, because he's not, but he just plays a more attacking brand of pool that does open things up a bit.
I like to talk a lot about percentage play. I mean, what's a good percentage for a top professional now to sort of break clear at? You know, over 50%, probably. If you're going at, say, 60% first visits, then that's pretty high. But most players will tell you they go a lot higher than that. But when actually you break it down, that isn't the case. But that means if you aren't quite on it and you go at 40%, I mean your opponent's winning 60% of the times you go for finishes on your first visit. Therefore, you're going to end up in a lot of deep matches, and you're going to lose a lot of matches where you feel like you've played pretty well.
And those small percentage differences, if you look at somebody like Tom Cousins, how many matches he wins of a season and how many frames, you think it's going to be an astronomically high percentage, but actually, if you just keep it comfortably above half, you don't have to be in the 70s and 80s. If you're just in the high 50s, 60s, that wins you a lot of tournaments.
That's why Ronan McCarthy's such a fabulous player, because I talk about it all the time. He doesn't necessarily get as many first visit chances as other players, but he takes them out at a ridiculously high percentage, but he doesn't go for them at a high percentage. You know, he doesn't just, I've got a chance after the break, I'm going. You know, he'll analyse it. Is this a chance to clear up? Yes, right, I'm going, and he gets it at a very, very high level. If not, right, how do I increase my chances? And that's playing the game a little bit more than playing finishes. And Simon's just ended up in a little bit of a tricky spot here, and he misses. No cue ball with it as well. Cue ball would have been there just about if he makes the pot, but it's a gift here for Craig.
It's kind of highlighting what we're saying. Always just chasing that finish a bit. He wasn't in bad shape and actually did get the middle pocket open, but it was always that red that he missed that was going to be the least accessible of the ones on the table. This is an absolute practice position for Craig. Just nothing to be done at all here. And 4-0 is going to start to get quite problematic for Si, even though he's got a ton of time left on the match clock, because we've got off to a quick start. Not really much of a guarantee that he's going to get enough chances to win the match. Lovely position this as a player when you're already 3-0 up and then your opponent starts missing as well. Gives you that added bit of confidence. It's also a good chance just to get used to the conditions. Doesn't really matter which order he plays these balls in within reason, so just let his arm go a bit. So just this 8 ball to open up a 4-0 lead. Never going to be in doubt from that position.
A lot more stacked bottom half of the field.
One of those ones, he looks surprised himself as to how he's come up dry there.
I think it's his best break of the match in terms of quality.
This is what Si needed though. Going to win all the remaining frames of this match if he's to get through to the quarters.
We saw Declan Brennan in the previous match in a very similar position to Simon FitzSimmons right now, and the way he was able to respond and get back into it. Okay, ultimately it came up short, but the quality of the response from Declan was, well, brilliant to see, and it'll be a match that obviously he's ended up losing, but he showcased his quality in the way he responded, and Simon needs to do that here. He is not going to get back into this match and have a chance unless he plays his absolute best game right now.
And that's where the form that Declan's coming into this tournament with helps, because he's had such a good run this season. He's probably surprised to find himself that far down and still could see a path to winning. question for Si is that he hasn't been winning too many matches at this stage of Pro Series events. Will he be expecting to win, or will this seem like a bit of an optimistic punt from the position he's in?
Breakout shot's not worked for Simon. You could see what he thought of it, giving it the big thumbs up.
In some ways, obviously, you're under less pressure when you're 6-1 down because no one's really expecting you to win, so you can sometimes free yourself up a bit. The last couple of shots, though, has not gone the way you wanted.
And that's, for me, I mean, look, we can debate whether the shot there from after not making the breakout is the shot to continue to have a dip and try and make it happen, or is there a way of pulling back? He could have played a loss of turn, keeping the yellow that's above the right centre becomes a problem ball. You've got a couple of awkward ones at the top of the table. So that's a surprising miss. But Simon's, I mean, he would not have even thought about pulling back there. It was a case of, okay, how do I continue to go? And I'm not saying that he should have pulled back there, but certainly he should have had a little think about it.
Yeah, as you say, these rules do promote attacking play, but there's always a balance. The top players, I mean, someone like a Mick Hill, who you can think of as pulling out brilliant clearances all the time, but actually it was exactly that balance that has made him so dangerous over the years.
Great shot, brilliant. And too many players pass off. The argument they have is that they go, well, once you've got so far through your finish, you've just got to go. There's no pulling back. Well, Simon still had 5 balls on the table. You know, in terms of a numbers game, okay, it's 7 versus 5, but the yellows are awkward enough, far from a guaranteed finish. But equally, the other argument is you don't want to let great players back to the table in any way. So there is no right or wrong. It's just decision making out there.
Somewhat to his surprise, back to the table with the next shot, which is a bit of a bonus from where he was.
Got to go up to the red at the top here. Does not want to finish straight. And he's got plenty of angle. Spin this one out.
Lancaster 27, Brian Wilson, Ian Eldridge. Brian Wilson, Ian Eldridge. Lancaster 27.
Normally very reliable with this shot. Mid-distance shot, which most pros get close to all the time.
Just feels like there's more jeopardy on that shot. It's such a, I mean, it shouldn't do, but it does.
So, first of the 2 breaks is guaranteed in this match. I'd like to convert one of them. Ideally this one.
Monster break again. Absolute monster break. That red at the top goes top left. I think these reds are sitting pretty. Slightly tricky first shot. Pot you can't take for granted, and tricky cue ball to go with it. Easiest pot's the one to top right, but cue ball's going straight into an area he doesn't want to move.
Example of what we were saying earlier about how clean a potter he is. Playing at that kind of angle, particularly where you're focused on the cue ball, sometimes you tend to just favour brushing off the cushion. That time he found the absolute heart of the pocket. Again, the same equation here. It's got an easy pot to the top right, but if he plays that, maybe moving things around more than he wants to. May not have any choice though. So I had to just commit to the cannon. It's not gone right though. red has gone from a possible position to one that's now not so easy to access.
I'm surprised at the decision making he's made out there. If he felt he had to go into that ball, to go into it first shot, whilst you got all the balls on the table, I assumed he was just going to try and keep it clean and work it that way.
Ball is Karen may well still go to the top right, but obviously it's going to be much harder to get on. It's not a bad angle though that he's left himself. I think he can just about get over to where he's just pointed with his cue, in which case he should be able to retrieve this. Looking at just running the cue ball through here, just needs to make sure he leaves a clean shot on the ball to the left centre. It's not essential to get too close to it. Did bring a bit of jeopardy in when he played that cannon in the middle of this visit, but to be fair to him, he's had it under decent control since then. And just this 8 ball to book his place in the quarter-final.
Very efficient performance that from Craig Waringham. Really high quality, lots of good finishing, showcasing all his skills.
And the next one, and Carl gets to the table, then you may see this one go again from Mark Fleming. He'll just break him wide open. Mark, a great feather of the ball on the break. He loves to feather the ball a lot. Pretty frantic in the way he does it, and then suddenly unleashes. It's a good player to watch, Mark. He's got a few idiosyncrasies about his game. You'll see when he is in the balls, you'll see him. He's kind of got this habit of looking at a ball and then he'll move his body sideways, maybe even 5 or 6 times just to keep checking the angle. It's fascinating to see the different styles.
A very good season last year, Mark Fleming. A couple of quarter-finals and a semi-final of a Pro Series event. Hasn't really been able to replicate that form this season. Quite a few first-round losses in the Pro Series. This is by far his best run in this series of tournaments so far in 2024. Wants to keep it going, obviously. Particularly, I think, is in these tournaments, it's not like there are easy first-round matches. You're beating difficult players in the first round, so it's not like you get to your natural level and then you can't beat the players in front of you. I mean, if anything, he's going to see this as an easier match when he had Tom Cousins first. Like this quarter-final, he could see as an easier draw.
And this is another frame. This is one of the reasons when I was talking to Carl the other day that I said that I thought these tables would suit him, because these are the kind of clearances. I mean, when he came to the table, this was a really, really tough clearance. I mean, you see that last shot, he's just nudged one ball out, come around the table, landed on a couple of his difficult balls. He's got the one down the rail, which was always going to be awkward because it doesn't really link to much. Tends to, well, I say that and I've cursed him because he's just come up short of position there. He's got a recovery ball at the top of the table, but he wanted to land on this one to the middle, and I don't think he's quite on it. But what I was going to say is his cue ball usually is really good because he keeps the game so simple. Well, he may just still be on it. If he is, he's fine. Especially if he can run through to the gap. Yeah, that's it. Looks, well, maybe just a touch straight again. Would have liked an inch less of roll, and he's got an angle that he can just screw through the gap. Maybe just straight here, so he may only just be able to come straight back to about where he is now and leave the one at the top of the table. He's going forward, so he's going to use the bottom cushion and come back out. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, he did well there to miss the reds because he was playing with a lot of pace. It almost threw so wide that he clipped the red, which would have messed the position up.
He's going to be left with a couple of tough ones.
Well, the ball down the left rail that he's going to leave himself is definitely not going to be a guaranteed shot. I don't think he's going to be able to get very close to it.
No, he's going to be playing at a distance for sure. He's just going to take his medicine, but I've got to say, I like Carl for these shots. I really do. Watch him miss it now.
Relatively natural position in that he can just run the cue ball through for the 8 ball to the opposite centre. He doesn't have to hit this too hard.
Yeah, there you go. Watch him miss it now, and he does. Just because he couldn't quite play it at the natural pace that he wanted to. He just had to hit it a little bit harder just to make sure that cue ball ran through. You see there on that slow motion, it was fantastic. You could just see the cue ball as it made contact with the yellow, it kind of skids, and then the top spin takes over and rolls forward. Well, a chance that Mark Fleming would have been hoping for. I think he would have feared the worst when Carl landed on that yellow, but, well, these pockets, they really are causing problems. He's got away with it. Carl's got a 1 cushion escape. He can go top. I mean, he has to go top. The reason he has to go top, a lot of players may go side cushion here and try and thin the yellow in, but then you lose the cue ball and the 8 ball goes nowhere. With this, if you hit it full ball and pot it, you'd be unlucky not to be on the 8 ball. No, not like that, Carl.
Foul. Ball in hand.
Not like that, sir. So Mark Fleming, ball in hand.
Wants to get going here because there's only 1-0 down. We're 20 minutes into this match.
Yeah, he's going to want to place the cue ball where he can just give those 2 reds a bit of a nudge. Well, he's going to take this one to mid on. You know, I think he's still going to screw back into those reds. He's going to go forward and leave the angle off the other one. Did wonder if he was going to set it up for the plant, because the plant looked dead set, but if you don't need to take a plant, why would you? So he can just come across, full ball contact into the red, and he's going to be on the 1 to middle. He's run across the face of them, that's no good. Now he's got a problem. I think if you were where the 8 ball was, I think the left hand of those 2 reds does actually go, but only from really where the 8 ball is.
He just got himself a bit confused. He almost had too many options when he had ball in hand.
He's going to play the plant now, I think. Oh no. Well, he could get it to middle and force an angle there. I didn't think he could do that. That's a great shot.
I don't think Carl thought he could do it either from his reaction.
I thought the way he was cueing it looked like he was almost going to play the plant to top corner and then come back and stun into the 8 ball, but he picked out one there. That was a great shot. That's another one. Ooh, I was going to say that's another one that's not going to drop, but it was only the weight. It was only the pace. Gave it every chance.
Carl Morris quite often gets involved in very lengthy matches when you're playing on the outside tables and there isn't always a match clock involved. He can get drawn into long games. That's not going to be possible here, but Mark Fleming really wants to just get this early frame on the board. Not the positional shot he'd played, but he's still got a chance at this.
He's come 2 foot further than he wanted to. He wanted this into the corner. That's how he played it. You could see instantly from his reaction. But,
I think that was an important frame because 1-0 down doesn't sound very big, but because Carl does have that reputation for getting involved in some long frames, this is a match that isn't guaranteed to see him winding up for the break. A lot of power again. Ooh, cue ball flirting with that corner pocket. That time the cue ball stays up, but unfortunately for Carl, so does everything else. see the venom trying to put in that. Hit it plenty hard enough to make a ball, but just didn't quite get the split. Not a terrible leave though. No attacking option for Mark, so just going for the containing safety. Flick the white off the cushion.
And now this, given the scoreline, suits Mark. He's happy to see the clock run down.
Yeah, Carl can afford one more slow frame, but he can't afford to get too far behind. If he slips 4-1 behind, there'll definitely be time pressure, and if this frame takes too long, there will be. That wasn't a touching ball, so that will be a foul. So ball in hand anywhere on the table now for Mark Fleming, and still an open table, so choice of colours. That was a good shot. Just had to catch that cannon thin. Didn't want to catch too much of the red, otherwise it would have gone past the middle pocket. It's not going to be a completely routine finish, because where the 8 ball is, you're going to need to play an accurate positional shot to get back for it. And you've also got to lift the ball off the bottom cushion at some point. There's a case for leaving the ball in the breaking area until last to play position on the 8 ball off.
That's not good.
I felt a slightly unorthodox way of going about it. It seemed like that yellow was always going to come into play.
I don't think he's on anything. I mean, if he can get through to the potting angle to the one to middle, then he's been lucky, but it feels like the yellow's just in the way of the angle. Yeah, it is. So he's having to go top table. Good little containing shot. Not quite in, I mean, needed to be right in behind the 8 ball. Didn't quite get there. But he's not left anything. Double. No, just again another little containing shot. Similar story here. He's got the thin snick to middle, but it's, I mean, the red is right adjacent to the pocket, so it'd have to be paper thin, and the cue ball would be tracking. What Carl's also done is stick the yellow down on top of the red at the bottom of the table as well, which is just going to make things awkward.
Turning this into a big frame now. 4-1 or 3-2, plus a lot of time being used up. If it does get back to 3-2, it's very much anybody's game. If it goes 4-1 and some time is wasted, it's going to be hard for Carl to get back into it.
I see the idea there. I mean, it was clever just moving that red out, but he's left Carl in amongst the yellows here. There's only one problem ball really, and that's the one that he's pointing his cue at now.
So he's going to try and play yellow off red into the right middle and use that red that he's hitting to develop the other ball, I think.
Trusting the luck here. Plant the 8 ball in if you get it wrong.
And even if you don't get the 8 ball in, the risk of course is that the 8 ball covers the pocket and you still don't have a shot on the other yellow. Well, in fact the risk is also that you miss the first ball.
Carl.
Well, he's focused so much on the cannon there, he's taken his eye off the pot. Looked like a very big pocket playing at this angle. Ooh, wow, I'm surprised. He's found a way of missing that. It looked a fairly natural shot. Oh goodness, what are we seeing now?
They're both at it. And they didn't have a full pocket to go for. So it was only because he had to play it at pace. If he could have dropped that in, it was a gimme. But he caught the yellow on the way through, which pushed it to knuckle.
So, a doubly big frame now, because both of them have got a bit to think about with the misses we've seen.
And obviously Carl's popping balls out now. You expect him to fire at this clearance. Not ideal. Was looking for a glance off that yellow to then land on it. Still should be okay. It's the yellow that's in the middle of the table, just above the bulk line. Doesn't go anywhere at the moment. Once he pots the yellow to the left of it, it will pass into the top left. So problem is there, you need to take it. You can't leave it. I mean, I guess you could leave it until last, but you're forced into getting the right angle to get from one to the other. Tricky this. It's getting harder and harder. It's got the yellow long, but he's slightly hampered queuing, jacking over the red.
Sometimes I wonder what he's looking at. He quite often comes round and points at seemingly fairly arbitrary spots on the table. So you can try and play this as a kind of double to nothing.
Shot.
Played that well.
Yeah, he's just got the right angle here. I think he can punch this up just to come to the right hand side of that red ball. Yeah. And now takes that yellow off the top cushion and then back through the gap. Just look at the angle he wants to leave to get across the 8 ball. Nothing for going too far here. You don't mind being a little bit short. Nothing for too far. That's too far. You can see where he wanted to be. I mean, even if he's straight, he can screw it straight back off the side cushion. This is in absolute no man's land here. If you go through, you're into the red. If you come back, you're into the red on the cushion. How do you get anywhere near this 8 ball? I think you just got to take your medicine and drop it in and take a double. Carl doesn't think so.
Well, that's
What
incredible.
A shot.
What a shot he's played there. I mean, you're absolutely right with what you say. It looked like he was inevitably going to cannon one of the balls, whichever way he played.
I need to see that again. That was...
Well, that's quite some finish from Carl Morris, and at a moment that he really needed it. And then cross his fingers that he gets a chance in the next frame.
They are wide open.
Come on!
Oh, how has he come up dry there?
How is that dry?
See Carl's reaction here.
Yeah, you can hear a shout. I mean, that red in the bottom corner, how is that not dropped in?
Extension, please.
Frustration. You can understand why. Just wanted a chance.
And now it's so painful. Mark Fleming's called the extension. He's just stood there. The time's just running away. Carl might get another chance in this frame. He may not. It may be that Mark just clears up. But even if he does get another chance, it's not going to be enough, because anything less than 2 frames doesn't serve him.
Yeah, Mark will quite happily watch the clock run down here, knowing that he can take a minute off of the clock and all the work's done. I feel for Carl, he battled all the way through this one, but hats off to Mark Fleming. After losing that long first frame, and obviously Carl had chances in the second frame to go 2-0. Mark really fought through this one, and it's a very good performance from him.
Mark will be playing the winner of Ronan McCarthy and Cole Bedford. It's our next game on the table as Carl Morris comes over and offers a handshake. He knows that there isn't time to get back into it. Not often you see a concession at that moment, but Mark Fleming will gratefully accept it.
If Cole gets off to a good start here, he could be away. But Ronan has been playing great this weekend. Cole's cut break has been fantastic. I can tell you, that it is absolutely firing on every cylinder this weekend, and that's one of the reasons. I mean, he's been playing well, but one of the reasons that he just keeps giving himself great chances. The cut break's a beast. And there's another one. And the yellows, they could be gone in double quick time. Just depends on how Cole gets going in this quarter-final. He's going to have pressure on. He's going to have pressure on. I think there's a bit to play for Cole here in his mind. He's been to a quarter-final before. He lost to Hitan Patel, a game that he felt that, you know, he had a really good chance in. But, he came up short on it, and now he finds himself in another one. He's got Ronan McCarthy this time. He's got a good record against Ronan. But all of that, none of that matters. It's all about now.
Just about right, that. Just coming up onto that yellow. Yeah, he's certainly an entertainer, Cole Bedford. Ronan earlier today, I was on comms with him. He was it was more of a workman-like performance. You know, there's some great moments, but he was always in control.
Would have loved to have got that cue ball another 6 inches up the table. He's got a big angle here, but he can just hold. Yeah, well controlled.
Just run it through, have the black in the top right, there you go. That's where he wants it. Nothing to do with the cue ball, just run it through a tad, and the perfect start for Bedford. He's a very animated character as well, is Cole.
Yeah, where's his heart on his sleeve?
I was going to say, you'll know if he's winning or losing. He will let us know.
Yeah, took a deep breath there as well. You can see the nerves are definitely in play. I mean, he's a busy player. Runs around the table, just races around. And you know, you're going to see it. You're going to see it play out now.
Perfect start.
There you go.
Another good break there from Ronan. And Reds look very favourable.
Yeah, I think this one's quickly going to be 3 each.
Yeah, Ronan's not a smash breaker, but he is a controlled breaker. Not many try breaks on this new Rasson Apollo table either.
No. No, not at all. They've had one each so far, but...
Yeah, I think in comparison to the old table, that I think did see quite a few.
Just needs to take care with the red that's adjacent to the two yellows.
Yeah, he's just looking now where he wants to be on it, because he doesn't want to leave it, so he has an angle. He's going into the yellows. He needs to be coming out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely nothing for too far.
Oh, I'll tell you that. You might have to play in the middle next. I think he might have to play the red into the centre next. So I think he's come too far. I really do.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
either the middle or he plays that red and then screws back to where he is to take that red afterwards into the middle.
A very rare flicker of emotion there from Ronan, a very slight shake of the head, and you never ever see that.
Because he knew how important it was to get that right positional shot.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to be playing this shot. He really didn't. And I'll tell you what, he doesn't want to come back straight again, unless he has to play both in these centres from that corner. Jabby, and he's in. Ooh. Slid in off the jaw. Look at Cole's face behind him. He thought he missed it. He was raring to go. He's turned around and to somebody in the crowd, like, pulled the face.
Straight again, though.
He's got to go in the middle again.
He's going to have to.
Well, he didn't like the last shot, and he's not going to like this one either. Not only that, he needs an angle to get down for the black should he pot this one.
Yep.
That one was a lot more accomplished. You see Cole behind him tap his leg in appreciation of that shot.
He's just got a shade of an angle.
He has.
So he can punch down.
He's finally got there.
Yeah.
Well, Well, this one's been hard work from what was going to be a relatively easy finish, and Ronan will be relieved to get rid of this frame. And that levels the match up, 3 apiece.
Be desperate for a ball here. Doesn't want Cole to get to the hill.
Oh,
wow! I mean,
8 ball comes in.
He got lucky and then he got unlucky because the red that went in got kicked in. You see here a ball comes up. Nothing was going in at this point, and it kicked the cue ball. The red went in. It kicked the cue ball in at the same time.
Extension cord.
Tricky.
Yeah, very much. Very much.
I'm even looking at myself to even decide what colour to go.
I mean, I'm looking at this table thinking yellows, but Cole's.
I think he's changed his mind.
Yeah.
He's going to play red off the yellow over there. I think that's what he's looking at.
I'm yellows there just because it's not a bad yellow to develop. You've got the natural shot straight away to develop it here. Just need to make sure you get the cue ball back out because you're in danger of not being on anything. Played it well. It's okay. It's not brilliant. He would really like to leave the yellow on the left-hand side to get onto the 8 now. He needs something to be able to track up for the 8 ball. He's going to be left with a tough positional shot, whatever happens. Needs to get that ball off the rail ASAP.
Did not want to be bumping that. That was quite happy where it was.
Yeah, I don't think it goes now.
It looks.
Don't think it
I
passes.
don't think it does either. If he is nudged at that, is really careless. Yeah, he's had to come over here. I mean, it's a good recovery shot.
Yeah, but the problem is, Tony, he needs to take that ball off the side cushion. He cannot leave that till last because you can't get on the black from it. So.
Well, you can, but you'll have to play an incredibly good shot at pace.
That's a super shot.
He's got an angle. That's fine. I think Cole doesn't quite like that because he will have to force this a bit. So you're going to have to be pinpoint. If you're a millimetre away from the rail with this shot, it's going to draw.
Yeah, this would be some shot if he gets it. This is as hard as it gets on these tables.
Brilliant. What a shot that is. Look at the angle he's left there to get onto the
How
black.
well did he cue it? I mean, hardly any
Perfect.
pace at all. Hardly any pace at all. Just a beautiful bit of cueing there.
Yep.
To get that far back up the table, to get that much reaction, that really is top draw. That's fantastic.
I'll tell you what, this has been some finish from Cole Bedford.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the 8 ball is dispatched. And Cole Bedford goes onto the hill. He just needs one more frame. Ronan McCarthy needs all 3. That's the simple maths of it now.
Final frame. Bedford's break.
Same routine. Places the cue ball for this crucial break.
Balls are moving.
Makes.
He's going to go dry. Oh,
Wow.
the only saving grace in that he hasn't left a gimme finish.
I thought there was a ball going to the middle. I thought he was going to get one there. You see the yellows coming across now. You felt that one of them had to go in. Like
There's
there,
the realisation on Cole's face that he's not got a ball.
as you say,
It's like, give me a break.
that is a saving grace. The fact that it's a messy old table. Ronan says.
So messy that Ronan's not even going to attempt to pot.
Ronan says, "You have a go, son." And I think Cole Bedford will take the bait.
What about 11 minutes plus of this frame and we have a 6 red?
I think we see Cole take the bait here.
Well, if I'm Cole, I'm going to go game. At least go down swinging.
Straight after the problem there.
But he has a chance here because now he's developed one of the reds and okay, stuff the other one behind that yellow, but it will now go off that yellow into the middle and kick the other one out effectively. Where it lands after that, I don't know, but I think Cole's not going to sit back and let Ronan sort of grind him to
He's not a player
a finish.
He's not a player that will die wondering.
That's his extension used. We're going to be on 15 seconds a shot very shortly.
So all about the shot now. Red to middle. Keep the other red
Why
out.
did he leave the cubel on the side rail there?
No idea.
That was completely avoidable.
No idea.
There we are. That little sound there you hear in the background. We are now at 15 seconds to shot.
Key to the frame here.
Well, he's clipped it the other way. Now has it come out far enough?
It has. That
Well,
goes.
he can play the red off the two yellows.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He's looking at that now. And
If he gets this shot, then we're looking at the black, aren't we?
then
Because
it's all about the 8, yeah. Oh, it dropped.
oh, what's he doing here?
Oh,
Oh,
my gosh.
he still has an angle.
He's got an angle to go into it. Oh my God. He's gonna keep us wondering.
Well, he's
That's
got.
all right.
Oh,
That's all right.
yeah, it is.
Well, he's gonna have to double the 8. If he gets this and then gets the other red, it's gonna have to be a double on the 8 ball. And it's
Well,
not
this
bad.
is
He can
this
drop
is
this
no
in.
gimmick.
It's not. He's got it.
It's a great shot.
He's got it.
Right, this is perfect, really, because he's dropped this in because he'll leave himself the angle for the double in the black in the other middle. This is a roll-in. He's got it.
Right. Watch out for this reaction
Right.
if this 8 ball goes
He's
in.
absolutely plumb on this 8 ball. This is perfect for the double.
He's not got an extension.
No, and this is for the match.
Wow.
This is for an incredible finish.
Watch for the reaction if this goes in.
It's in, and look at Cole Bedford. He's won. He doubles the black and beats Ronan McCarthy 7 frames to 6. Bedford, and just look at him. He's ousted the world championship, the world champion even. And there's his black. Look at him.
He's just broken his hand. I
He
think,
has. He has. Well, Cole Bedford is going to be in tonight's semi-final.
Well, both these guys know what it's like to make it through. Scott Gillespie is the most recent champion at the European Open. Really built on the back of that form. Is flying right now for Goobsy, having his best run since pre-COVID. And he's up against Aaron Davies, who maybe been a little bit quieter of late. Very good start to his Ultimate Pool Pro career. Not quite making the breakthrough to winning a title, but has been through to finals. Good to see him back into a quarterfinal, and he gets us underway here. Race to 7, 50 minutes to start us off, and Aaron with the first opportunity in this one. Feels like a little bit of calm after the excitement of the last match, which was very dramatic. Always a lot going on, and never has there been a more apt nickname than Chaos. Cole Bedford, that really was. Well, I'm out of energy watching it, in all honesty. This one, I think, will be a little bit more. I think the quality will be there, but in terms of, we won't see that level of emotion from the players out there. Both stay very stoic out there. Tony Holgate rejoins me after catching his breath from the last one. That it's really, we're all a little bit drained here.
Yeah, what a fantastic match. Incredible win there for Cole Bedford against Ronan. Had all the drama. And this promises to be just as thrilling.
Trickiest ball on the table, won by the 8 ball, still to be negotiated. Good connector to it.
Well, the long red for Aaron.
These are no gimmies whatsoever. It's actually a more open pocket, top right, but top left is by far the better choice.
That's brilliant. No, it's not.
Looked like it was going to drop.
I thought it was in. I must admit.
Did it just hint? Did it hit anything on a finger mark or anything? Did it just flick away? Big moment though, early.
Yeah, it's a funny one, that one. Well, this man has been in absolute breathtaking form, Scott Gillespie, off the back of his European Open triumph. Earlier today, he had to weather a fight back from Declan Brennan when he was 6-1 up.
Yeah.
Decky started to find his feet and was producing some fabulous finishes.
It wasn't just a case of that he was reeled off a few frames. The quality of the finishes was impressive. In a losing cause, Declan really showed his class in that one. Actually, he didn't start particularly well, but the way he came back was, well, just showed the quality player that he is. Also showed the quality player that Scott Gillespie is, that he was able to withstand that and just hold himself together.
Well, he had a dry break and then off the break, and Declan finished off both of them and then off his own breaks. And I spoke to Scott afterwards, and he said, I knew you were going to get me hand on the table at some point, and it's just a matter of taking my chance. And I thought, if I do get a chance, I'm going to take it. So he said, I stayed positive. He said, sometimes you do get dry breaks. It's not as if I missed a ball. He said, so I still felt confident, and he did hold himself together well. Aaron there trying to check that cue ball back over for that red, and it's not took.
Yeah, really trying to create an arc in.
I think the cue ball might have jumped a bit as he hit down on it, so it sort of skipped rather than came into the cushion and gripped. And what he has done is obviously he's given Scott Gillespie ball in hand so he can get rid of these two awkward yellows.
Sure if he's got the angle here just to get across for the one on the right hand side just yet, which is what I'm sure he would have wanted to do.
And then you see he's thinking about leaving that angle with the yellow that's sat on the line. So leave an angle just to roll behind that yellow down that rail.
Just about. He's come up a little bit higher than he wanted. It's not the natural.
Yeah, he can't roll it now. He's got to punch it over there. Played it well. Solid cueing from the Scotsman.
I know we keep harping on about it, but it's balls like these where, you know, you can tell the extra little bit of focus from Scott Gillespie just to make sure that he got behind that correctly, rather than, you know, last time we were here in Blackpool, you might have been a little bit more casual, floated across anywhere near the sort of middle pocket, and anywhere within a pretty decent area, you'd have fancied yourself making it. But now you really want to be right behind those, and Scott worked well to get there and gets the job done. We'll follow.
Well, has the worm turned? Dry break from Scott. Now Davies straight back to the table again. The yellow's in two straight lines of 3 and 4 balls.
Certainly noticeable. Aaron's one of those players that likes to use the shot clock more than most. We're 25 minutes into this match, 5 frames played, so 5 minutes a frame give or take, and we haven't had a tactical exchange yet. We've only had finishes or counter finishes, and you know, used up half the match clock. Aaron's been involved in a number of 6-red shootouts. Partly that is the match clock getting run down. Just flicks the red. It was tight. There was plenty of room, really, but it wasn't the full pocket. If he's right behind it, he doesn't miss it. It's not a very inviting table for Scott Gillespie to come to, but he would have expected to not get to the table in this frame.
Well, the immediate thing you sort of look for is, can he pot and get out? No. So then you look at the loss of turn shot. There's nothing really that strikes me there as gaining any sort of advantage either.
No, I can only think, can he get, you know, can he hide the white in playing the loss of turn? Can he get up and maybe play it as a 3-ball plant loss of turn whilst hiding the white? 4-ball plant loss of turn, but I can't see that happening now. He can't do that. Can't hide the white in playing it. I was wondering if he could have slid by that one, he maybe could have played it and welded up to the red he's just moved. Potentially, but that's obviously not an option anymore.
The other thing is to play that 3-ball plant down here. If the middle red can slide off the first red that's next to yellow and go and creep over to that yellow that's on the bottom rail and glue to that. That's my only sort of thought.
Yeah.
Anywhere with that.
The problem here for me is if you keep going, as he is going to.
Oh, there you go.
That works.
Now we can play a loss of turn.
Yeah. But if you keep going, then you end up kind of leaving it late, so he has tried to make it happen early. If the yellow doesn't go, then I like the loss of turn. If the yellow goes, you can still see the argument.
I always look at it now, the immediate thing, because you've got to give yourself a chance to win the frame, and you're not winning the frame with Aaron's yellow stuck there. So just get the cue ball as close as to that red as possible.
Well, he's left a shot. It's not ideal.
Yeah, but it's as good as he could get, you know, for Scott, I think.
And I think that little bump on the red as well, it just moved it, caught a roll. I think that stops the yellow from going. I do think it did go before. All Aaron has is the one in the middle of the table, so this is far from an easy shot.
Not made that shot.
Well, he played it. I question whether he was even trying to, but I mean, what else is he trying to do in that situation if he's not trying to pot it?
Yeah, it's not a containing shot of sorts.
It's just a slightly strange cue ball. If you're going to play the pot, you think be positive and play a really good position. I suppose maybe he's just trying to float it into an area where he knows he's not leaving a pot on. But he was always going to be second favourite.
Great shot there from Gillespie. Super loss of turn shot. Played the plant and just look at where he stuck the cue ball.
I can make a case of that being shot the match so far.
Brilliant, yeah. Because that control, you know, it's a very hard shot to play and get that dead weight and stuck behind that red. And Davies gets out of it, doesn't commit any sort of foul. Scott will be just looking to see if that red does go now to the bottom left-hand corner, the one that's nearest that yellow, which it does. But look at those two reds quite close to the rails. We know they're not easy.
Inside 20 minutes to go here. Feels like a very big moment. A swing frame for sure. beautifully.
Yep, great shot. Now then, I think he's been having a little look at that red to see if it goes in the bottom right-hand corner, be past the 2 yellows.
I think the shot when he played the plant earlier on, he played it cushion first. It just allowed the red to come away enough that he can pump this across. It was a clever little subtle shot 2-3 shots ago now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Does he drop this in, or can he screw back to the side rail and have the black in the other middle? If he can come straight back, I'd rather have that shot than roll this in and leave a longer black. It looks like he's screwing back. Yeah. He's gone back twice across.
Still landed absolutely plumb.
Yeah.
He's not going to let one missed 8-ball affect him out there. Brilliant visit to the table, this one from Scott Gillespie, in a very well executed frame of Paul, you have to say. Huge moment in this match. It's big. It's big.
And it's dry.
Wow, and it's a good layout.
Look at yellows. Look at reds.
Oh, yeah. Tricky first ball on reds, maybe.
If he can get through to the one in the centre.
It's a delicate. I think he's got right centre. Has he got left centre? He has. These reds are lovely. Oh, sick feeling for Aaron Davies. And Scott Gillespie gets another chance here. Mindful of the clock without being too fearful of the clock here. Oh no. No, Scott. Wow.
That you just want to make sure of that one, because the ones in the middle of the table you can play them very quickly to just pop them in.
A minute left here, but Aaron doesn't really have a finish on, so Aaron's going to probably have to play for the 6 red here. He's going to have to just pot 3-4 open balls here. I mean, he could try and leave himself an angle to play the break out at the top of the table and then try and clear up with 45 seconds. He's still got that angle, surprisingly, even though he's come quite a long way down the table. But is it worth the risk? I suppose he has to play it now. He doesn't have any other pot on.
Yeah. The only thing is, because the 2 reds have been nudged together there, it's highly unlikely that Scott's going to have enough time to finish that frame. Well, he's certainly not now. This is going 6 red. Here we go. What did we say? We haven't had one for a while.
Yeah, we haven't. Now we've got one coming up, that is for sure. Aaron calls his extension. And nothing Scott Gillespie can do.
They were there for him though, weren't they? They were there.
Yeah, Scott's going to be kicking himself because they really were there. That's a disappointing miss from Scott Gillespie's perspective. You know, it's obviously very different to playing how he's played the rest of the tournament in terms of trying to do something at 15 seconds a shot and kind of run round and make a buzzer beater. But I think you're right, Tony. That one there, make sure of, and then you can go pop, pop, pop pretty quickly.
So it's Aaron Davies to go first.
Early 20s is the target here. If you can set 21, you're in great shape. Sub 24, you're probably happy. Aaron Davies with a break. Placing the semi-final on the line here. And it's a good break. Had to wait a second or two. Oh, that red gets in the way, which is that's hurt him. Might have to play the plant.
Uh-oh.
Did the right thing though, stop the cue ball, but
we're looking near 30 seconds.
We are. Just under the 30. 28.93 is the unofficial time. And yeah, that was really unfortunate for him. It was a really good break.
The ball that came around and blocked him because he was ready to go and it came and stopped him.
Good break. And because he's got 29 to beat, he can steady himself. 6 clean pots, he wins.
Yeah, this looks good. Looks very good.
He might hold for the other one, but he can drop it in the centre.
Oh, that's brilliant. He's home and dry here.
Brilliant stuff from Scott Gillespie. Huge show of emotion at the end. A brilliant 6 red shootout for the Scotsman. It really was.
Craig Waringham takes on Stevie Dempsey. Mark Shepherd and Nick Finn with you for this one. Always felt, Nick, like the second half of the draw was the really stacked one. This match could so easily have been a semi-final or a final. Whoever comes through is going to fancy their chances, although it's not going to get any easier because the winner of this match plays the winner of Scott Gillespie, who plays Scott Gillespie, who has just won the last match. He's clearly in excellent form.
Yeah, always hesitant to say it because the field's stacked with talent, but these two will feel just slightly aggrieved that they've drawn each other because they are two very informed players, and you know, there were, as I say, don't want to say easier draws, but you know, you look down through the card and they wouldn't have been eyeing up each other thinking, yeah, I really fancy that. An early miss from Craig Waringham. Stevie Dempsey was flawless yesterday when we saw him. Absolutely flawless. You know, cue ball was perfection right the way throughout. Well, it was only 7 frames because he won 7-0.
Yeah, from ball one he was just going for everything and getting everything. I don't even think that first clearance he particularly wanted to go for, but kind of got committed to it and then never really looked back from there. I've seen some good performances, but that was definitely a standout one. Hard obviously to carry on playing to that level in every match.
Waringham played really well earlier as well. So FitzSimmons, so yeah, real tough matchup this one. It was definitely the one that caught the eye amongst the quarterfinals. In fairness, we've seen 3 very, very good quarterfinals so far. We've had absolutely everything. We've had a deciding frame. We've had a 6-red shootout. It really has been great fun.
Not necessarily a couple of the quarters that you would have predicted, but everyone's here on merit. Been no easy draws through to this point. I mean, what a route to the title it's going to be for either of these players. They've got to beat each other. They've then got to beat Scott Gillespie, and then even then they're only in the final, and they'll have one more match to go. They'll have to do it the hard way.
That was a nice shot, but you feel that he's reaching here. It really is. I mean, he's eyeing up the plant to the middle.
Extension, please.
That needs to be made. And there's no guarantees they'll be on another ball afterwards. I think time to just run in behind the red, perhaps. No, not having any of it. Wow, I said he was eyeing up that plant. Smashed it in.
Well, it's almost a carbon copy of how he started that 7-0 match that we're talking about. Ended up chasing quite an adventurous finish in that one. Here he obviously feels like he's committed to this one now. He's got to play one more shot. He's a bit thinner on this ball to the middle than he ideally wants. Let's try and hold the cue ball. Or if he goes round, oh well, for a moment it looked like he was going to manage to get around the back of that. Don't think he's quite made it. That would have been some shot if he'd have sneaked around the back of that yellow and landed on the red at the top of the table.
He's got a wafer thin cut at the bottom of the table. And gets that as well for good measure. I mean, I don't know how he's even given himself half a chance here, but I mean, does this red go anywhere? Doesn't go to bottom right. Don't think it. No, he's looking at middle. Yeah, it doesn't go to bottom left. No, just a stretch too far.
What a clearance that would have been. He did well to get as far as he did, but it does come up short eventually.
I mean, it always felt like he was digging a hole, but did well to get as far as he did.
Nice position this for Craig. No real pressure here. Obviously doesn't want to miss a ball in play, but only one red on the table, so not too much traffic to negotiate. And generally when you're watching your opponent go for a clearance like that, you're probably willing them to keep on trying, but it got to a point when you thought maybe Stevie was going to find a way. There were moments that FitzSimmons looked like he could get back into that match against Craig earlier on, but Craig was definitely the player in the better form of the two of them, deserved his win. Landed nicely on this ball, pretty much the perfect angle just to run through. It's alright, he's a little straight, but he can just make a bit of angle to get up towards the 8 ball. Entertaining first frame. Stevie might come up with a miracle clearance. And a much more straightforward clearance left for Craig. Semi-finals, yes, at that point, and he was a strong favourite over some people who had booked a semi-final place.
Yeah.
Dempsey and Waringham 3-1, 7-2 at that stage. Those odds will have changed slightly now the previous quarter is finished. Bedford and Mark Fleming were a little bit adrift, 7-2 and 9-2, despite already being in the semi. They know both of them will understand that they're not going to be the favourites whoever comes through, but they're also going to understand they've played very well to get to this point, and they'll both fancy the job. And sometimes being the less fancied player or coming from the less fancied bit of the draw can do you a favour. When everyone's busy talking about something else, you just carry on winning. Good chance this for Stevie, and one that he'd like to take, because he doesn't want to find himself 4-1 behind. Two events this weekend, both of equal status, Pro Series 7 and 8, both carry the same ranking points and prize money. Out of absolute choice, I guess players generally enjoy having a good run in the first one, because you're always guaranteed the big crowd when you're playing the final on a Friday night in terms of atmosphere. Plus it's a bit of a free roll then if you snap off the first event of the weekend, then you come into the second event where everything's pretty much a bonus. This has been nice from Stevie. Works his way around this finish very confidently. Natural angle here just to screw over to the right hand side cushion, hold position for the remaining yellow. Always looks very focused when he's at the table. Oh, the fifth frame of a match when the scoreline's 3-1 is always a big one.
Yasser Hussain, Sam Bircher, Sean Ash, Sam Maskini, Rab McCulloch. It seems to be just deja vu. It's the same names time and time again cropping up at the business end. Rab McCulloch having an amazing season. He's destined for the pro ranks for 2025.
He looked really good. I was watching a few minutes of his match against Luke Terry earlier on. He saw a few shots, but banged in a few shots down the rail at pace and zipping the cue ball around the table. He looked like he was finding it very comfortable out there.
Yeah, he's a class player. He sits at number 2 in the Challenger rankings, having won event 2, having been runner-up in event 1. An amazing weekend. There's only Jaden Billingham ahead of him. What a story from that young man as well. 11,800 points for the season. Deep run after deep run, semi-finals, quarter-finals, just about every event. He won event number 5. He's a young man, a current under 18 world champion. I mean, he's still 18 years of age, for goodness sake. And he's top of the challenger rankings. What a future he has.
Saw him in action on Monday night in the Pairs Cup with another of the names you just mentioned, Sean Ash. Really to be, they didn't get as many chances and we didn't maybe see quite Jaden's best, but very confident in his interview before the match, saying how he's having deep runs in pretty much every event he enters right now. And that World Championship performance in the summer, that junior event, had some decent players in it. Okay, they may not be the big name pros, but he had to do it the hard way winning that event.
May have to go long with this red. I think he played it for the middle, but he's got no angle to get onto the 8 ball, so he may have to play it long past the yellow. And he's still going to take it to middle. He doesn't really want to go long in case he moves that yellow, because the yellow's creating a big pocket for the 8, and that's why he's taking a liberty here. He would never want to leave this angle for the 8 ball, but the yellow being there creates a guide, creates a big pocket. Don't expect him to miss this one. Oh, didn't need the yellow. Potted it clean as a whistle.
Well, that's a pretty good start towards that objective. Ball split out very nicely indeed.
Yeah, we saw Brennan McCarthy in a similar position to this earlier, 6-4 down. He did manage to pull it back to 6-4. And then Cole Bedford took out huge clearance in the final frame to get across the line. And we're going to see similar drama here. Plenty of time for 3 frames. 9 minutes doesn't seem a lot of time, but on a 15-second shot clock, it's more than enough, especially if the balls are open.
Yeah, all results possible, but a draw would seem the least likely right now. They should have plenty of time to play out as many frames as they need, particularly given that this one doesn't look like it's going to take very long.
Yeah, probably another minute left on this one. I'm surprised he's going long here.
Shows what a confident potter he is. There's a lot of people that wouldn't be paid to take this one on when they've got easier balls at the top of the table.
I'm just not sure of the reasoning behind it. I mean, he's got the one to top right, the one to top left, and then use that ball to come down to the bottom of the table. And I guess the only reasoning could be is that he thought, I've got the angle to get down to the bottom of the table now, so I'll take it now, because he wasn't, later on in the frame, he wasn't guaranteed to get back to that exact angle to get back down table. As it happened, he didn't get far enough down anyway, so he's got to have to play a shot here. Middle pocket. Well, he just caught the knuckle. He just caught the very edge of the knuckle, which has sent the cue ball across the right-hand side. And this is why it was a mistake for me, Mark. I mean, I know it's easy to sit here and criticise after the event, but oh dear me. Trying to get that inside the 8 ball. If he flicks the 8 ball, it's going in the pocket, and that was match over. Very lucky. Yeah, go back to that one, taking the one in the middle of the table. I don't know. It's easy to say from here. He's the one at the table.
Yeah, I think the only explanation is that he must think he could have gotten nicely on the one at the bottom and just came up short.
Yeah.
I think it would have made sense if he'd have been able to play it the other way around, take the one in the middle, then the one at the bottom, and then go up the top. Then that would have been a much more assured route.
Middle pocket's in the way of the one cushion escape, going up the rail. He's not missed it by much, not missed the ball by much, but he's missed the line by a long way because he was looking to pot that. And there's a couple of times now where, I mean, we saw one earlier in the match, didn't we? He's missed the line by probably 18 inches, and he's missed that one by quite a long way. He's not judging the line of the ball to get out of snookers yet. Players still getting used to how these cushions react. Don't forget, these are brand new tables. Never played on before. A lot of these players, first time they ever played on one of these was when they arrived at this event.
Yeah, it's kind of a rare situation, isn't it? New in terms of haven't seen the style before, and new as in the playing conditions are all perfect because they are all literally brand new.
He's got some work to do here. He's tried to move the red on the right hand side cushion, on the left hand side cushion. Through missing it, he's come down the bottom of the table onto this ball at the bottom, but he cannot get anywhere near the other red. And as a result, he's not even tried to pot it, and you can understand why, because look what he's left Dempsey.
Yeah, well, it was either take on a really difficult shot himself or leave Stevie one.
Yeah.
This is the percentage option.
I mean, even if he gets this, he's going to have a horrible... I mean, he's digging down into it to try and get on the 8.
Well, I think the wrong side of the ball in the end. I mean, that was such a hard shot.
Massive ask. He's snookered what, has he? No, I think he can just get past.
That shot that Stevie's just played, if he were just playing it plain ball, would have been a tough pot, but digging down.
He was looking at the double, the back double, just to see whether... Because he kind of had a shot to nothing. If he could have played the double and left the cue ball at the top of the table, Stevie had nothing, because obviously the pocket was covering the yellow. But, he knew he could never get that close to this ball. It was always going to be a big ask. And then getting on the 8 ball from here is... that's a fantastic shot. You can see what he thought of it with a little fist pump. You can hear what the crowd thought of it. Come onto his corner. That was a superb performance.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's semi-final time here in Blackpool. Cole Bedford about to break off. He's playing his mate, Mark Fleming. I'm Tony Holgate, and with me is Nick Finn. And didn't we see some fireworks earlier from Cole Bedford?
Yeah, we did. We did. That was a very entertaining, in fact 4 very entertaining quarterfinals. But that was a highlight for me. I thought it was a brilliant match.
Ousting the world champion 7-6.
Yeah.
But my word, did he go through the emotions?
Yeah.
All of them. Probably in the same frame. But Mark Fleming, he's been fantastic. Took out Tom Cousins in the first round, the number 1. I did think, can he maintain that sort of form? Well, he has shown everyone he can.
Yeah, very consistent over the whole weekend. He's had a lot of tough games, in fairness. A lot of tough games. In his quarter-final was the same against Carl Morris. Was behind in that match early doors.
And this, of course, is our first semi-final. Following this, we will have Craig Waringham. And he had an impressive win, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, very
beating
much so.
Stevie Dempsey.
Yeah.
And he's going to be up against Scott Gillespie, the European Open champion. And he's probably, like the guys were saying there just on the intro, the man that is probably looking the best player at the moment. But, well, I think it's hard to pick. When I was looking actually on the the bookies, the odds as I came into the arena, and they've got Scott Gillespie and Mark Fleming are both at 6-4.
Wow.
Bedford 7-2. I think Waddingham's 4s, something like that. But it's I thought,
it's the weight of the money from Scotland coming down, isn't it? It's they've been known to like a punt now and again.
Yeah, but they're making Mark Fleming a slight favourite here against Cole.
Yeah. He got that 8 ball out earlier, but it's not in a great position. He's just resigned himself to the fact that he's going to double it.
Of course, potentially could be an all-Scotland final.
Could indeed, yeah.
If Mark were to win and Scott Gillespie to join him by beating Craig Waringham, would be an all-Scottish final. But a long, long way to go before we'd be talking about that. Fleming now leaving himself the double into the centre.
He's landed pretty well on it as well.
Looks to be potting really well. Loves the tables, by the way. I had a little chat with him earlier. So how you finding him? I said, well, I know what your response is going to be being issue in the semi-final. But yeah, he said he loves them. Loves them. And why wouldn't you when you're finishing like that? And it's Mark Fleming. Starts us off in a flurry. Well, his last break was phenomenal. How's this one going to be? Made a ball, 2 balls. This looks good.
Yeah, very, very nice. Again, a bit.
He's going to have to work for his finish a bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but he's got straight down on yellows. Taking a yellow to middle while we were just playing that replay.
Well, this yellow must pass into the top left. If it does, he's got an angle there to kick that bad one out.
Yeah.
There you see him looking at the path he wants to track the cue ball.
Yeah, if he gets a full ball contact, he's going to have to land on the yellow he's hitting because he might not be on anything else.
Very nicely done there.
He'd
have just loved that to stay a little bit nearer that pocket so he could have used it, but...
Oh, what's he on now?
I don't know. This now looks a little bit more of a...
The one by the 8 ball spot. Cut that thin.
I think that's all he's got.
Yeah, there's nothing else there. That just ran an inch too far, didn't it? I mean, an inch less, and he's got that to middle, and these are pretty much a formality. He needs to pull out a big shot now.
And he has done.
Very nice recovery.
Great position as well with the cue ball. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's a top quality recovery.
Plonk this in now. Play the one at the bottom of the table. Come up about 4 or 5 inches. You just drop that into the middle. Black in the other middle. And another breaking out for Bedford.
The wildlife is still congregating around the table. These midges. It might be moths. I mean, if Shane Thompson's out there and he's opened his wallet, it could be moths around the table.
Poor old Shane. Giving him stick.
And that's it. He gives me plenty back.
Well, this black ball for Cole Bedford to bring it back to 3-2. An enthralling match unfolding.
Now that middle ball. That ball to the middle doesn't go in this time.
No.
He doesn't get anything off.
And a slow trudge back to the chair. A little less animated than he was against Ronan McCarthy when he had a dry break.
Yeah, it feels like he's just slightly more relaxed. I think he turned up this weekend with the aim of getting to a semi-final, and anything else will be a bonus, which is never the right attitude to have. I mean,
no, do you know what? I was going to mention that as well. But I mean, I remember when he was talking to Simon out there after his win against Ronan, and he did say, you know, I believe I can win it now.
Yeah.
But he did say the goal was to get to a semi.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just sort of relaxed a little bit? Well, he's not relaxed because he took out 2 break finishes, but he doesn't look. He would look really disgruntled earlier if he didn't get a ball off the break, and he doesn't look so. I think
down
on it, if you know what I mean.
The difference for me, Tony, is that he made a quarter before and lost to Hitton Patel in a match that he would have gone into thinking, I've got a good chance here. He came up short, so the next goal for him was to get to another quarter final and get through it. Now he's achieved that goal. Now, you know, it's another stepping stone in the right direction. I mean, if you remember, Luke Gilbert was a similar story, kind of growing into the pro series, and you know, he made some deep runs, and then he got that title, lifted the trophy. It's almost like stepping stones.
Yeah.
And Cole, I think in his mind, just maybe feels like he's achieved his goal. Anything else would be a bonus, and it's not the right attitude, but I get it.
Yeah. Just lets himself a little bit short there, Mark Fleming, on this yellow. Shouldn't pose a problem the way he's potting at the moment, but just something to think about. Obviously, want to be a little bit straight. He could just punch that yellow in and come down, but in fact, he probably wanted to come out a bit further and play the one down the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like he's still on the one down the bottom. Actually, he's through the gap, but played that well. Side on the cue ball, judged it really well. The 2 reds are in the path here, so he just needs to be careful.
This is double breaker serve as well.
Yeah. I mean, we said it just before, didn't we? That, you know, every one that Mark wins, it's more and more pressure on Cole's break. Comes up dry, and then Mark's jumping in. I mean, he doesn't look like missing at the moment.
No, he's faultless. I cannot fault Mark Fleming's pool in any way, shape or form. Once again, Fleming clears the table.
Well, 3 dry breaks have killed Cole Bedford. Because he's not playing badly by any stretch of the imagination.
He's boomed his break and got 2 balls.
As the fat lady started singing.
Well, yeah. You can see a yellow and a red. First glance.
She's definitely warming up her tonsils.
And the balls are there for Mark Fleming to get himself into tonight's final.
I think.
Don't forget, we still have our second semi to come. That will be coming right after this. Scott Gillespie versus Craig Waringham.
Left a nice angle here just to come across.
And obviously tonight will be the final as well, which will obviously follow. It's around sort of 10:15 approximately, I think it's penciled in for tonight.
Yeah, nice angle here to come across and nudge into that red.
I
think it may go. I think it just goes. It's just enough.
My initial reaction was that it doesn't, but
yeah, I reckon it does.
Yeah, I do as well
Looking at
now.
his body language.
Yeah. Oh, he's been. Well, I'm not going to say he's been fortunate, but
tiny bit, because he definitely wasn't looking at it to hit it that thin. Well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe he needs to give it another bump.
It goes in the other middle.
Yes, it does.
But I don't think he can get the cue ball over there because the yellow's in the way. So I think he's going to have to give it a little shunt. No, it does go. I mean, he teases all along. Yeah, right. This red screwed the cue ball back, and the black in the corner for Mark Fleming to reach the final. And he's going to be there, and this has been an outstanding performance from Mark Fleming.
Yeah,
you have to say it.
Sometimes you just got to take your hat off to somebody, and that's all Cole Bedford can do today. He will not mind losing this match. He would
just look at the reaction.
Yeah, he would have desperately wanted to win it.
Absolutely.
But when you don't get the chances, then you don't get the chances, and that's fantastic from Mark Fleming.
Well, Mark Fleming is in the final.
And he's going to keep the cue ball on the table. Simon Webb and Mark Shepherd on the call for you for this one. And what a first shot Scott Gillespie's going to have here, Mark.
Yeah, not quite what he was imagining. What a semi-final that we've got here, though. Scott Gillespie has really just continued in this tournament where he left off at the European Open. Came through a 128-man field in that one. Played so well. It was almost one of those ones you just wondered whether he could come to another tournament and carry on, or whether when he'd finally won that trophy after a bit of a drought, that would just be a relief and he'd take his foot off the gas. I don't think he loves where he's been left. Yeah, the facial expression not entirely positive about this leave. It's better than the alternative of his opponent having a good clearance, though. Craig Waringham looks to have enjoyed his day. Really positive in his interview after his quarter-final match. Liking the table. I guess that sort of goes without saying for the players that have made the semi-final.
It is, but it's also the players that haven't made the semi-final have been saying it. I mean, we've been going on about this all weekend long. It's well, I keep saying weekend long. We're only on Friday, but I talked about it for the last 2 days. I haven't yet found a player that has not enjoyed the table. They really are all enjoying that it is tighter. It's putting more pressure on them. Also helps when your name's Craig Waringham and you always seem to hit the centre of pockets, although that one just grazed the jaw as I say it, but he is such a clean potter of the ball that it doesn't seem to make too much difference to him.
And that becomes a real advantage, because when you're playing opponents that you consider are less good QS who are still getting the balls in just as well as you are, it's a bit of a leveller, whereas on this table we can see you've got to cue the ball properly. Not very easy to call a winner between these two, as we see Craig overdo that positional shot. He was attempting to stay level with that red to take it to the opposite corner.
That may be the worst shot we see Craig Waringham play in this whole match. That may be the worst shot he's played in the tournament, in all honesty. I can't believe how far he's out percentage-wise. I mean, he was only trying to move the cue ball a turn, and he's gone about 4 turns.
Didn't really look at it. I don't know if that ball to the left of the 8 ball would have potted. I don't think he was remotely thinking of playing position on it, but it actually landed almost in a gap. Either way, goes bottom right and comes up short. I've seen a couple of moments like that. The moment yesterday when Chris Melling was trying to roll a ball in the centre pocket and overdid it and just rolled the white in afterwards, which is something you feel you'd never see. He was probably trying to borrow a bit of the pocket and ended up catching it a bit straight. Well, a couple of loose shots from both players, having hyped up what quality QS they both are.
That was tough, though, from Scott. That's not an easy ball.
See, it wasn't very far wide, but bounced heavily off that far jaw. It's turning into a bit of a scrappy frame now. No attacking option for Craig, so just try and get some kind of cover with the white.
What was your take while they're playing this tactical exchange of that first semi-final? I mean, we talked about it, and we don't mean this in any way disrespectfully to Mark or Cole. It was just not the semi-final anyone was expecting to see. I mean, you know, they're both capable of making those runs. We've seen Mark make semi-finals before and Cole quarter-finals, but to see them both do it in that section is quite incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to see relative outsiders have their moment in the limelight. I mean, it's all relative. They're both very high-quality players. I'm surprised really to see them there, but the fact they both got through. It was maybe a slight feeling that Cole was a little bit flatter in that semi-final than he had been some of the earlier rounds. I know we talked a bit about the fact that he was targeting a semi-final run right from the beginning of the tournament as the sort of metric as to whether he'd retain pro status for next year. I don't know whether there was some element of relief that he'd got that hurdle. And
it's almost as though he climbed his mountain, didn't he, to make the semi-final. Although he didn't play, it's not as though he really fell off in that semi-final. He still played a good level. It was actually a high-quality match, both of them playing well.
Yeah, Mark played really well. I mean, both of these two players here are going to be feeling like this is probably the more difficult of the matches they'll play, but make no mistake, Mark Fleming's in good form. It's not a foregone conclusion that whoever gets through here is going to have an easy run in the final.
It is fair to say, though, whoever wins this match will be the favourite for the final, but that's, you know, in ultimate pool terms, races to 8 as it will be in the final are on a knife edge, and, you know, in any one-off match, it's just tough to call anyone a big favourite.
That's good and bad. Of course, we've had different formats. We had the Masters earlier in the year with very long races. Ultimate Pool puts on a pretty wide range of tournaments, from like the last man standing, very quick fire stuff, to those really long multi-session matches.
Of course, Craig Waringham winning one of the shorter finals in the Champions League, our big Monday night television show. He won the Champions League, and that was 2 sets of races to 4. Very short and sharp.
Just seems to be the way it's gone with his career in Ultimate Pool. He's had success in the Masters and the Champions League, more so than the Pro Series. Although his first season, after that amazing Challenger run in 2021, in 22 he had a good few deep runs in Pro Series. Was in the semi-finals on a regular basis, it seemed, for a few months there.
Another one gets away. This opening frame is getting scrappy. It just won't come easy for either player, and the balls that are being missed aren't particularly easy balls that are being missed, but we are seeing some misses, maybe some edginess out there to start this semi-final, but all frames count wins this one will feel very positive, and the loser will be the exact opposite. So really important to forget what's gone and try and get one on the board here. It's going to be tough for Craig though. That red at the top is absolutely in a world of trouble. Even if he can see the red to bottom left to be able to pot it and swing the cue ball up the table, still can't do a lot with it.
This match still being played to the same format. It's only once we go to the final that we get to the longer race to 8. So this level race to 7 can happen pretty quickly. A good start, always important.
What's he got for us then? Looking at the long double. Not sure if that's on. Might be. Thin clip, is that on?
Yeah, is the thin clip on? I think. Well, it looks like it's loading up for the double rather than the clip.
No, not to be. Sometimes you can't be critical of going for it in that situation. He's behind. He's got no way of winning a tactical exchange, so you might as well throw your arm at one and maybe you make a long double like that. But in truth, that was quite a long way away. Still not come easy for Scott Gillespie though.
No, and that's the other reason why sometimes you are actually better to have a go at a shot like that, because you can leave an awkward position. Played a good cue ball. You can see he was on the 8 ball if he pots it and forces Scott into a double of his own.
And Scott's turn to get lucky. Well, that could have ended up absolutely anywhere, and he's put the red dead.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe this may not be just a hit and hope job or trying to find something speculative, because the yellows are awkward at the top of the table. So is there any way to try and track the red towards a pocket and get the cue ball middle of the bottom cushion? Because that wouldn't leave anything on. Played the loss of turn, tried to get the yellow off the table, and if he had have got the yellow off the table, the cue ball's in the perfect position. That's not quite worked for him.
yeah, a bit unlucky that the yellows hung there. Had a chance of potting it, or it could have rolled safe down one of the cushions. That would have been of a similar effect. Scott's just coming round to see the 3 yellows on the left-hand side of the table. I'm not sure any of them actually pot clean. To force his way over there, or is he just going to have to play a containing shot after? The bottom 2 certainly don't go. May just be able to sneak the top one in. If not, he's going to play a safety. Oh, he could just get it through. That was perfect. Suddenly the frame has opened up for him. Certainly feels like of the players in the tournament, he's the one that has probably had the most consistent run. Just really that 6 red against Aaron Davies. That was the only moment when it looked like he could lose a match. He was 5-3 up in that one before Aaron got it back to 5-all for the 6 red.
Oh, cue ball stays on the table, but nothing else is going to drop.
It's been quite a while adjusting himself for that shot, just making sure you're in the right position. Can't quite catch it right.
So far in the tournament, Scott Gillespie hasn't really had to come from behind at any time. He's been pretty plain sailing, obviously up until the quarter-final where he was pegged back to a 6 red shootout, but he was never behind. He was always in control of the match. It just happened to get away at the end to the 6 red, whereas, you know, Craig can put one in here and make it 3-1. All of a sudden Scott Gillespie's going to have to do something that he hasn't done in the tournament, that's come from behind. So big frame right now for Craig to maybe start to stretch something, because he has the next break and he just broke cleared. This isn't easy, but it's also very much within his scope.
It's only very subtle things, but if you just look at their body language, not that Scott's giving away any frustration, but Craig just looks like a little bit more relaxed, just getting a bit more table time.
Craig Waringham quietly has one of the best temperaments in the game, and that's never changed. I've never seen him show any frustration out there, ever. Mentioned this earlier on when he was playing, he's such a good attitude for the game when he's out there playing. He misses one here. but also win or lose, he just moves on. You know, dusts himself down. There's another tournament round the corner. If he keeps putting himself in there, he will win them.
Well, with the Pro Series, that's really the name of the game, isn't it? We've got 10 Pro Series events over the course of the season, 5 weekends of pairs of tournaments. You're not going to win all of them. Tom Cousins gave it a pretty good shot, even he couldn't quite manage that in his amazing run last year. Just got to keep entering, keep putting up the standard, and then sooner or later it will be your time.
Keep grinding it out. Especially as well, I mean, this is the Pro Tour. There is a lot of money up for grabs, okay, not compared to other sports, and the majority of the players on the tour aren't full-time players yet. Some of them want to be. I know that Craig Waringham has aspirations to be. You know, essentially Tom Cousins is, as is a few other players. But you just keep grinding out results, and yeah, you might turn up to a tournament and find a last 16, a quarter-final or a semi-final, but you know, come the end of the season, it all adds up. Big titles is obviously what they all want and all looking for, but the deeper you can keep grinding out, the more money you're going to make.
The deeper you go, the more matches you play, which in turn gets you in better shape for the next one.
Yeah.
And that's been a case in point with Scott Gillespie. Had that run of too many early round defeats for parts of last season. This year he's been at the business end, been seeing a lot more of him. It's very hard to stay at the top of the game, isn't it? Scott Gillespie, there was a period before COVID, he looked like he was establishing himself really as an absolute top sort of 3 or 4 player. And things changed. It's been really the tale all the way through Ultimate Pool. We've seen a few different players have their periods of domination.
Tom's has lasted the longest though. Tom's hasn't stopped yet. I know he's lost first round here, but he's still been the player of the season. He was the player of last year. He's the player of this year. Okay, there's still a couple of people that can maybe have a great back end to the year and maybe get in the conversation, but so far he has 3 titles this year. John McAllister has a couple. Scott Gillespie's trying to win his second, but Tom's still out in front with 3.
Yeah, I mean the run that Tom was having coming into the World Championships, won the World Masters. Feels like really at that stage of the season the only thing that went wrong was not winning the 3rd world title. And
I'm giving him his 3 titles, and I'm not including the World Masters as well, the WPF World Masters we saw on here on Ultimate Pool TV. So that's throw in the fourth title if you like. Yeah.
I mean, the run he had to that Masters was Tom Cousins at his absolute best. He was just steamrolling people.
No one could touch him.
And it felt like when we were commentating on that he was going to translate that and then go and win that 3rd world title, which he's been searching for a few years now, back to 2014 when he won his 2nd title.
It's a nice shot from Scott, and he's going to get this one. Great counter following Craig Waringham's miss to the corner. This has been excellent. Needed something positive to happen, and something positive has happened, and we're all scared at 2-2. The pot into the centre wasn't as guaranteed as he was hoping, and had to absolutely make sure. Oh no, Scott's just not having it out there right now. Break is brilliant. Look at this leave. 2 frames on the trot. He's got this situation, which is horrible, and 3rd time in the match. That's poor. Poor form for him.
You can see on his face. I think he's still can't quite believe he's going to have to get on with it. He doesn't really want to use his extension here, does he? He's going to have to.
What does he do though? He doesn't want Craig to take on a finish. He's just taken out a really tough finish, and I guess he wants him to have a sight at a yellow but nothing else. But how do you stop him having a shot at a red? This is really tough.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and
it must
come off the jaw.
Must be touching ball, yeah. Didn't hear that call from the referee, but it must have been touching ball. So he has found a safe area of the table. Safe-ish area of the table, I should say.
Match is quickened up a little bit, but still 30 minutes gone already. Averaging 6 minutes a frame, which you'd say is probably about double what you'd have expected for these two.
Beautiful piece of cueing. so he has got the tougher set. Yellows are tricky. One nearest the top left-hand corner obviously is the problem.
Position where he can really play it as a plant to the top right. The other ball's too far from the pocket. He's got an angle here if he did want to go and try and promote it. You could play the yellow onto red as a combination. Obviously not from here, you'd need to be right behind it. It's a bit too close to the cushion though for that to really be a comfortable shot.
Gonna have to play it though. I think it's in the jaws enough. He's right in the pocket. He's right behind it. I think he'll be happy. He's fairly confident with what he's got here. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. Beautiful shot. And he's gone about this so efficiently. And right now, Scott Gillespie will be sat in his chair kicking himself with his luck out there. Not necessarily how he's played, just the form of the rolls after the break of not being kind to him. Was it second frame allowing Craig Waringham into the match was a huge error from Scott Gillespie. The rest of just natural course of really tricky layouts, but yeah, he's had a lot less chances of that, there's no doubt. Just the balls have not been kind for him. Made a ball this time, and this time he does have a shot on, and he does have a good layout. Maybe they're getting kinder for him. This is exactly what he needed to try and get back.
That's all on the roll of one ball. That ball sauntering slowly towards the left centre, looked like it might pull up short, but delighted to see it down. And this is a good chance. He gets it back to 6-4. Once again, he's just signalling to Craig that he's there. He's not immediately there, but he's close enough that you know a comeback is a possibility. And the match has noticeably quickened up. Very slow in the early going, but 8 minutes left. Still a chance of getting all the frames played if they are required. Bookmakers before the match were struggling to separate these two players, both in terms of their ultimate tournament success and outcome in this match, which ultimately kind of the same thing. Only one of them was ever going to get through to the final.
I think it's a fair assessment. It was just a tough one to pick, wasn't it? Still is, but Craig Waringham definitely has the edge. But this is to get back within 2. Oh, he hasn't. Oh my word! Huge error. Is this a poor contact? Is it a poor strike? Is it just a terrible shot? No, he's conceded. He's conceded the match here. Frustration has boiled over here for Scott Gillespie. He's not even going to try and come out of the snooker to get to this. He has decided enough is enough, and in a rather strange manner, Craig Waringham books his place in Pro Series 7 final.
Really difficult to try and pot this and get across into that pack, but go for it he did. That was a brave shot.
And he's been quite lucky. That was a very brave shot from where he was, because he'd been happy enough with the position until he disturbed the balls. It's turned out fairly well from his perspective, isn't it? He's still got a couple of yellows tied up.
Yeah, the yellow that's closest to the right side well now doubles. Again, I think we're just going to see Mark glance off it and run for cover at the bottom of the table. Just get that ball out into the open. That's another one that he's moved. Didn't really want that kiss, but yeah, he's given Craig a sighter of the red up in bulk. And I think he can. He's looking at the plant. Mark's tried to hide all of this, but he's that little glance on the yellows giving Craig an opportunity.
The far red was actually quite a bit further away from the pocket than it looked from that camera angle. It may have looked like a bad miss, but it was actually quite a difficult shot. What it is, though, is a bad outcome, because it's now opened the yellow up.
Yeah, he's left the yellow to middle, and everything's there now. for Mark, just needs to compose. And we'll see him do that a lot. He just steps across to look at the angle. He may well do it again. A few false starts from him. It's just part of his part of the way he plays. If he's got a pressure shot, he just makes sure that he's settled. Make sure he's in the right frame of mind to play the shot. Won't rush it.
It's an unusual mannerism, isn't it? You see different people address that pressure in different ways. You see people coming around to look at angles that they don't in truth really need to. It's just a way of settling themselves down.
Left a nice angle here. Just run off the top cushion. Be a touch of left hand side on this ball, as you can see. Just to bring that cue ball down through the middle of the table and leave what should be a very simple clearance for Mark Fleming to open his account in this crucial final.
Did Craig Waringham push the boat out a little bit far? Played a couple of quite adventurous shots in this frame when he was tactically in a decent position.
Yeah, I don't mind it too much. I mean, if he makes the plant, then the clearance is there. It's the first frame. He wants to get himself on the board quickly. Quarter line. Oh, that cue ball tried to get kicked in, didn't it? It was nowhere near the corners. I mean, he broke beautifully. Just came straight back up the middle of the table. And then it got kicked across, kicked again. Actually, it's not a bad leave. I guess the yellow on the left-hand side. Yes, the left-hand cushion with the red just guarding. I think if you get on the cushion, you can get to the potting angle. I don't think it's one that he necessarily has to move. He's looking at the yellow in the middle of the table now that's tied up next to the red to see where it goes and if it goes, and whether that's going to need moving. He can leave an angle here to come across and move that if he does need to. We'll find out now whether he stuns back into it or whether he can just land it. He's had another look. Must be very tight. On the one down the left-hand cushion now. And the other yellow is just to the right of it. I think it may just pass below the red. Again, it's another one that's tight. Indeed, he's landed on it, so I suggest it does go. Just travelled a couple of inches too far, meaning he's just slightly hampered. If he lands a couple of inches short of that pace, he can drop the yellow in and just run up table. He can't do too much with the cue ball here, and he won't want to.
Well, you can see from that overhand how tight it looked.
Yeah, just brushed the red on the way past. We said it was tight. It must have gone, but
it just really didn't help queuing over, did it? And the fact he was queuing down because the position just wasn't natural, the angle he'd left himself.
Yeah, when you've got a jack up like that, it does make it more awkward. It's going to be his undoing in this frame. Craig Waringham takes out his only difficult ball.
That was a nice shot, because if you look at where the cue ball is, even had he missed that double, he wasn't going to leave an easy pot. Obviously now it's gone. That's the difficult ball out the way, and not too much to do with the remaining ones.
So if you can call that an error, and I guess you have to. It's the first error for Mark Fleming. And the way Craig's playing, he won't be able to afford too many more, because he is just gobbling up every chance.
Yeah, he's looking good for the win right now. This 8-ball is going to go halfway towards the winning mark.
Comeback's got to start somewhere. And that's a decent break, but I don't think he's got a shot. I don't think he's got a shot. Oh, the yellow that he's closest to, he's got long, but you don't want that as an opener. No, he's just gonna. That's nice to see, actually, because a lot of players would have just taken the yellow on and just gone gung-ho and said, oh well, you know, I'm 7-1 down, let's have a go at everything. But it just shows that he still feels there's hope. He's not going to push the boat out. He's going to make Craig work for it.
Yeah, he's a proper pool player, isn't he, Mark Fleming? He's been around the game for a long time. He's played a lot of international pool as well, which I think helps to toughen you up, play with some teammates. Not playing to pot this, just playing this as a safety shot. Playing the right thing, of course, to grind his way back into this, although doesn't desperately want to get involved in a long frame because time will become a factor given that Mark needs to win 6 or 7 more frames. I say 6 or 7 because if he could tie the scores at 7 apiece, we would go to a 6-red shootout if the clock had got down to 0. If either player gets to 8, that will be the result.
It's important there for Craig not to leave a touching ball. And a little tap on the table from Mark to recognise that, because it's hard for Mark to play any shot there and not leave something. And he's left this yellow long. And now Craig will be taking this on because he's playing it into a big pocket with the red down there. And this is, you feel his chance. He's going to take the harder one of the two. Rightly so too, because he can come across and develop his bad ball. Wow.
Well, that was the harder one of the two because of the position, but it was a hard shot. It was in a kind of a blind pocket played like that, and even though that red was there, it wasn't making it so big that it was unmissable.
He did develop that tough yellow as well, so in his saving grace is he's put the red across the yellow. It's just below the 8-ball. But it's a decent chance now for Mark Fleming. He's not had many. He's not made too many mistakes. He needs to take every chance that comes his way now.
Certainly couldn't begrudge him another frame or two. He's played his part in this match and very much so in the tournament. Must have played more frames of pool than anybody else. He's definitely played more than his opponent because he's played 2 extra matches en route to this final. To his credit, he doesn't look particularly jaded either by the amount of pool he's played or by the fact that he's behind. Still, from his body language, you wouldn't really be able to read too much into the overall situation.
So he's going to have to come across and play the short position, get right in behind this yellow. It's a very, very narrow window that he's playing into. Just about judging the pace. The line looks good, just slightly underpaced. He's going to have to cut it in and run into the 8-ball now. And he's going to be trusting to luck where that 8-ball goes. Hard to judge because the red ball, the 8-ball will probably go into the red above. Hard to judge how this is going to come out. Just needed 2 or 3 inches more pace here, and perfect. Oh, I think he deserved better than that, just to get this frame on the board, but it's just not happened for Mark Fleming. It really hasn't. Didn't deserve that.
Yeah, that's a tough run, isn't it? Good pot. Found the pot okay, but he's going to have to come with a big shot here because look at where these reds are sat. A bad place to... He can come off one cushion. He's going to give himself a chance of potting this ball.
Will this be the last shot that Mark Fleming plays in this event? Possibly not. That 8-ball, if that's gone across the potting angle of the red, then when they come back to the table, Craig's looking at it, eyeing it up, and then he can get through. Yeah, I think that could be curtains.
Mark went for control. You would have seen some people try and smash that and hope, even if he didn't get the natural pocket, that he fluked it off a few cushions. So will this be the victory lap for Craig Waringham? Can't ask for a better chance than this to close out a match, especially under no real pressure. 6-frame cushion.
It's been a stunning performance, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, he's been great in the last few rounds. And he's just carried that form through to the final. Just eaten up every chance that's come his way. And he is going to be a deserved winner of Ultimate Pool 2024 Event 7. We saw him come short a couple of years ago. Not this time. Dominating performance. Fist bump to his friends. And what a game, what a performance.
What a performance indeed from Craig Waringham. 2 years on from that heartbreak where he lost 8-7 in the last seconds of the game to Shane Thompson. Craig Waringham has found himself in the Pro Series final again. This time he gets the job done, 8-1 against Mark Fleming.
To our champion, Craig Waringham.